Foremost, as always, we'd like to give our praises unto
YAHAWAH, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash.
Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well. Salutations to you, brothers, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. We're back with another week of pushing the word. The air quality out here is bad. Therefore, we're indoors, but nevertheless, we're gonna bring this word out. So, if you want to grab it.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 8. They change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. I'll read that again. It says, there shall be confusion also in many places.
Yeah, this whole everybody's bugged out and confused, man. Nobody knows what tomorrow's going to bring, so to say. You know, in times past, when we first came into the truth, and prior to that, and you know, Esau grabbed Ecclesiastes. Or, matter of fact, Bible Shop, if you mind grabbing Ecclesiastes 12, the first chapter. Because at one point in time, you know, from economists to the president to politicians to, you know, entertainers or whatever, they just knew what their life was going to look like. They knew what the economy was going to look like. They knew what the foreseeable future of America was going to look like. You know what I'm saying? And they planned certain things according to that. Now, nobody knows what the hell. People don't know if they're going to be booted out of their house tomorrow because of the fires. Mm-hmm. You know, not too far from where I live at, there's a part of a city that they got pretty much evacuated. You know, so hey, that's why the scriptures say we got to be pilgrims upon the earth. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hold that, go ahead, bro.
It says, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters.
Yep. Okay. So menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, man. You gotta, you know, a lot of these wars, the result of a lot of these wars, the result of a lot of wars, the result of a lot of wars result in children being born with deformities, like over in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and Iraq and Afghanistan. A lot of those bombs that go off and whatnot produce a lot of it corrupts the soil and so on and so forth. You know, chemical warfare. So a lot of children is being born all deformed and jacked up, man. You know, that's another form of what's the word I'm looking for? That's another indication of us being in the last days. You know, you want to continue, bro?
Reading on, it says, actually, that was all of verse 8. For yeah, Sirach 5 and verse 8.
Oh yeah.
That was the whole of verse 8.
Okay, yeah. Oh, go
ahead. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 40. It says, "O my people, hear my words, make ye ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth."
Right, and the way you make yourself ready for the battle is putting on the armor of the Lord. Somebody grab Ephesians 6. And putting on the armor of the Lord, man. Making yourself ready for the battle, you know, is first and foremost is this battle is spiritual. All right, we're not gonna take up arms and march with old dude we mentioned last week, the NFAC, the bootleg Malcolm X. what's his name? Grandmaster Jay.
Grandmaster Jay, yeah. I agree with those names.
Yeah, we ain't gonna go to Walmart and buy rifles and stock up ammo at Big Five and shit. You know, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna be occupied in prophecy. You know, go ahead.
Was it on me? I was done with that. I got another one for you. This is that Luke 12. We said 49. It was 49, wasn't it?
Yeah, about the fire.
Yeah. Okay, this is Luke 12 and 49. It says, I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled?
Yeah, so the Lord, He's coming to bring fire. All right, He's 1, 2, 1, 2, wait till the red burn. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I've been thinking about that last couple of days, man. Like, hey, that's what we waiting on the road to burn, man. You know, through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, we're waiting on the road to burn, and that's what the Lord is bringing, man. You know, so if you seeing turmoil and chaos and confusion, and literally certain parts of the whole West Coast being on fire, you know, the Lord is coming with a greater fire than that, because this place, Babylon the Great, ultimately is going to be completely destroyed with fire. All right, so these are just precursors to that fire actually destroying and devouring.
It says, but I have
was a hell he caught, you know, him being crucified. Okay.
Verse 51. Suppose ye that I am come to.
That's
okay.
Oh no. Go ahead.
Dave.
Yeah,
That's one. Verse 51 says, suppose ye that I am come to give peace on the earth. I tell you, nay, but rather division.
Yep. So the Lord's coming to bring division, man. Ain't there's not gonna be any peace. You know, Isaiah, I believe the 48th chapter mentions that there's no peace unto the wicked. Right? You got this devil ruling, and he's not gonna rule justly. All right? He's a devil, man. So there is gonna be no peace here in America, man. You know, the brothers, I forget who it was it you that put up the video that the Edomites, they took that old chair and they wanted to get it restored, and it was like a 200-year-old chair from somewhere in North Georgia, and when they peeled the top layer of the chair off, there was slave hair that they used for cushioning. So the whole chair was lined with hella slave hair, just as if you took a whole bunch of slaves and shaved their hair off and just put it all in as cushioning.
That's wool, like you do like lamb or sheep.
I mean, that says a lot, though. You know, like, why do they use white people hair? There's no body to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like the brother said, like wool. Grab that real quick. Revelation. I mean, you know, that says a lot. I don't remember seeing that video. It might have been somebody else.
Yeah, it might have been on the campus shit.
But yeah, that proves a lot. You know what I'm saying? That proves a lot that about the Southern Kingdom, especially going into slavery. You know, which all of Israel went and is in slavery. And that's the whole point of why you're feeling oppressed. You know, is because America is known for its systematic racism, man. You know, go ahead and read it.
This is Revelation 1 and 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
That's the texture. You see, so who else on this planet has texture hair like that? They didn't use the Polynesians. You know, they didn't use the Aborigines. Because if you look at the Aborigines, a lot of them, there's a good amount of them where it's not consistently like a Judite's hair. Like the so-called Negro's hair, a lot of them have just like big curls.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the same. But when you look at specifically, you know, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, it's a very distinctive hair pattern. You know, which is very consistent. Okay, so that's a non-disputive topic. Go ahead. Keep going.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters.
Right. So that's the description that that's one description given of YAHAWASHI, okay, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, okay, because the letter J didn't even exist back then. Nobody was calling him that. That's a new thing, okay? It's a brand new thing, that letter J. So this is showing you, okay, by a physical description, how he would look. So even with this, you still have biblical scholars and theologians like All Cap Malone, who or he had to have been Middle Eastern. But when you say that, you're modernizing what a Middle Eastern person is today, and you're changing something that needs not to be changed. You know what I'm saying? You're moving things around for no reason other than to push your own agenda.
You're adding to and taking away.
Right, and the Most High said he'll take away you from the book of life
And he'll add to you the curses.
place. Yep. And so that's what America is finally seeing. You know, because you'll have some people, especially in within Washington State alone, that'll be like, well, you know, we were never racist up here. We were never taught to live like that, this way and that way. But you're still benefiting off of the other 49 states, okay, that have done other things, whether they have or not. And Washington is no safe haven either, man. To this day, and this brother was telling me what they were doing to one of the tribes out here, how they swindled them out of more land, basically. So they're still losing more of their land. Okay, you Gadites, you so-called North American Indians, and more and more of the citizens in this state are getting pushed into a corner. You know, and people are going along with it because they're like, well, you know, fuck it, like, just go along to get along type of mentality, you know. Do you have anything else you want to pull up real quick? Nobody? Okay.
To that statement, that's like Nia Bay. What they're doing to them, like if they stay gone for too long and that they're no longer considered under the Gadite, you know, reservation, they can't have their land no more if they're gone too long.
They lose their homes, which means they lose the land. Yep. Yeah. And so that's why you see us inside today. I'm sure the brothers already kind of went into it. You know, poor air quality. It's unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? You can't be outside. Even Seattle Seahawks, they have a game today. Where are they playing at?
What?
Atlanta. Whether that was predetermined or not, I'm sure they'd shut it down. You know, why would they? This football team, right? That's worth millions of dollars. Why would they hazard their season, which next season is very dependent on this season? So it's all about money. So they're like, yeah, they're not going to mess with their money. Meanwhile, over in Hermiston, Hanford area, certain parts of Yakima Reservation, it's hazardous air quality. You move a little bit further into some of the other cities that are close by, and it's very unhealthy. So we're lucky. You know, I'm looking at the map for the air quality. I'm like, man, we're lucky. Like the Most High is like still letting us live and operate. But you'll notice that there's some cars that are collecting dust. And it reminded me of when Mount St. Helens exploded. You know, and this is just a small taste of the reality that's going to come. And these people have they've been receiving warning from the Most High through us, okay, from brothers around the world putting their shows up and letting them know, look, these things are coming to pass. Okay, whether you like it or not, these things are coming to pass. There's a lady, even on this app called TikTok, and she's been on YouTube in the news, and she walks around showing her RFID chip, and she's opening cabinets in the house, doors. People come over as guests, and she gives them little black wristbands that they can wear so that they can have access to the bathrooms in her home, or open the door to go outside to the backyard or whatever. And she's like, yeah, and then if they don't give them back, we can just shut it down, and it's deactive. They deactivate it. So all this stuff is coming to pass, man. Okay, whether people believe it or not.
I appreciate
Go
it.
ahead, yeah.
This is Ezekiel 3:17. It says, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman into the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me."
You see, and who's the mouthpiece of the Heavenly Father? His prophets, his men. So that's the job of when you become woke, right? Because that's the new term that the new hippies use.
Conscious woke.
Yeah, it's just the new hippies, man. This younger generation is just new hippies. That's it. Because they don't want no beef. They're like, oh, everyone's cool. We're all whatever. They all dress the same, talk the same, act the same, look the same. So there's a blending of a culture, just like the hippies, how they're like, we can all come together and have food and all this stuff. And it's like, that's not gonna work, man.
Love and peace, no war.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. Especially when you got Trump talking about how much he loves to be able to provide jobs for people that make the bombs and the vehicles.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude's a complete tyrant. He's a complete idiot. But that's the thing. Intelligent people are quiet, and idiots are full of confidence. That has to take place, which is letting us know what time it is. And so as we express and share these things as we've been commanded and taught to do, okay, there's little mercy for you people that don't take heed. Okay, very little compassion is going to be set forth for you. The Heavenly Father's got no more compassion. Okay. So there's a lot of things still coming to take place, and this is just these are like petri dishes. Let's see what happens let's see what happens when. Let's see let's see when let's see if they do this rather than that. You see?
Ezekiel 33:7. So thou, son of man,
Mm-hmm.
So nice that to read it twice. That's
God. But that's showing you that it's a repetitive thing that the Most High constantly goes to nations and people, especially you Israelites, you Negroes, you Latinos, you North American Indians, which you refuse to take heed to the thing that will protect you. And it's a carnal thing about you. Just like people are told to stay indoors and not do shit. We're stuck in this phase 2, and you got people still asking governors and mayors about high school football and stuff, and the governors and the mayors are like, this is phase 2. I already answered that question. Well, what about high school football? It's phase 2.
They're not even going to school. They're
right.
learning from home.
Why are you worried about high school football? You see what I'm saying? Like, it just shows you the agendas of people, man. So there really is. There's nothing on this planet that's unified except the spirit of YAHAWAH and YAHAWASHI, man. That's it. If you're not in that spirit, there's nothing else that is together, man. Because everything else on this planet is against itself. Everything on this planet, you can look at any culture you want, and it's all cannibalizing itself. You can say, well, the Japanese culture this, or the tribe over here, this and that. They're still doing wicked shit. Look at the stuff they eat. Mm-hmm. Look at how they operate within a society. Look at how they observe, what they call holy days. So no, that's why it tells us in Judges 5:11 that we're going to rehearse the righteous acts, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants. And I don't know, you brothers remember after camp one day when the lady had her two daughters, and they were yelling at her. what did we do? We sat there and
About an hour
we
and a half
rehearsed,
after camp.
for an hour and a half after camp.
After camp.
And we mediated a situation between a mother and a daughter whose father, you know, because that was the first thing. Well, where's the husband?
Yeah.
He's with this other woman, and they're over there sitting in the car. Like, well, does he want to come talk? And he's like, no, he's making. So it was a whole scenario and situation that was like, damn, you know. So we're sitting here rehearsing a righteous act, even towards the inhabitants, and that little kid was like, damn, like these men are actually telling me that I'm in the wrong. Some entitled little 8-year-old, you know.
2 little girls.
Yeah.
I think one was 12 and one was like 10 or 8.
Yeah.
Some a little younger.
It was crazy, man.
Yeah,
it was
sure.
crazy. It was like blowing our minds. Like, well, how the hell does it get to this situation?
We sat there and watched this little girl yell at her mom,
Yeah.
tell her that she's lying and she's not telling the truth and all this.
And
we're
it's like, okay,
well, then what's your truth?
right?
She got to speaking and she just started stuttering. She couldn't even speak no more. We were like, all right.
Because she doesn't know how to lie.
Mm-hmm.
And even if she did know how to lie better, it's like, look, these scriptures are gonna catch you.
Yeah.
The spirit of truth is gonna, and it caught her on every little avenue she tried to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're the problem. If you don't like what your mom's doing, emancipate her, get her out. She's not gonna go the way that you would want her. Get rid of her, man. In the ancient world, they'd just put you to death.
Yeah.
So,
You just be killed because what good are you? You don't do anything. You're not. You living is no benefit to anybody.
No.
And that's 2/3 of our people. Them being alive is to no benefit.
Yeah.
Even the elites want to chop you down, man. You know what I'm saying? The elites are trying to kill people. It's in the inherent nature of Edom, the so-called white man, to depopulate you Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. There is no coexisting with them.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we see it in many avenues and different perspectives in life. You know, you just got to be willing to sit there and watch and be unbiased. You know, and we see through these words with our belief and our hope. Other people don't see with belief and hope that we have, and that's perfectly normal. They're not supposed to. There is supposed to be a separation in this.
This is Isaiah 3:12. It says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they that lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths."
You see, the people that lead thee cause these to err and destroy the ways of their path. I saw another clip where this guy was talking about like how to hit on married women or something, right? Now it's actually his wife, right? It's actually his wife, and they're like role playing basically. But he's like making her laugh and stuff. He's like, "Oh, see, I make you laugh. Your husband probably doesn't even make you laugh like that. What's up? Can I get the number?" Like, you know, just, and it's like, man, like, you read the comments, everyone's like, yeah, like cheering it on, you know. Now, whether or not they realize that it's just their, you know, channel, their page, and they're hip to what's actually going on or not.
Yeah, you had to worship women, yeah.
Yeah, they all, everything on there is about committing adultery and threesomes and the woman ruling over the man and just straight
All for the
wickedness,
sake,
man.
all for the sake of comedy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like this brother's pointing out with that guy Big Jaw out in California, because comedy is observational, and which also makes it funny because it's like, oh, it's true. It's funny because it's true, and it's a real observation that you'll make. So knowing that he's got that platform and he can grab the attention of people, he could actually be educating.
Yeah.
He could actually be changing mindsets rather than riding a trend of wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it's the thing with people and being carnal is you'll always take the path of least resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Someone grab the path it's in a couple of
Second
places.
Ezra?
Yep. Your second
That's-
verse.
Alright.
Get the child can grab the one in Matthew's. Broad is the way.
Yeah.
You know, because people are going to take the path of least resistance. Elements do it. You know, we talked about water. Water takes the path of least resistance. Electricity will take the path of least resistance. Fire will take the path of least resistance. It's not going to jump to green things to burn it. It's no, oh, this is dry. Oh, keep moving that. Oh, this is dry. Keep moving that way. Oh, the wind's blowing us this way. Oh, and it's dry. Oh, now I'm a flying piece of wood, and I landed on an animal, and I'm
And it's
covered,
dry.
I'm covered with sap. You know, and now you're stuck on the deer and it's running through dry things. It's like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Path of least resistance. Mm-hmm.
This is Proverbs 6:32. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroys his own soul.
You're lacking understanding and you're destroying yourself, man. Because you will, in the ancient world, in the perfect world, you'd be put to death. But you're destroying an entire neighborhood. You're destroying an entire society by doing something like that. And so, mind tolerate that shit. They would come all the way back to the house of the mom. Let her, she had, beat him, and then they killed the guy. And she was like, ever since then, there was no more repeat offenders.
Yeah. Open example.
Yeah.
Open rebuke.
So everyone's like, holy shit, are you serious? Be like, yeah, this is exactly what happens. And then people are like, damn. Then they'll be afraid.
Set an example. That's all you guys. Motherfucker is an example, and that's all you need is one. Like the Most High did it. The boy was picking up sticks. The Most High, hey, put him to death.
The law speaks about that. It speaks about how you'll do certain things in front of you. Do that in front of the whole congregation,
that others may fear.
So that way everybody else can fear the consequences of that.
Rebuke before all that others may fear. You see. So whether you believe in it or not, and what the scriptures are saying, when the reality of it plays out, like in that scenario, whether those people read the Bible or not, look at the results that it created, man. Meanwhile, here in America, you have Edomites, Caucasian, so-called white people, who are pushing for more and more lax laws on pedophilia.
Yeah.
And you can do the studies. This is not nothing to, you just want to bash white people, this or that. You do it to yourself, man. You got the club, you got the arm, you got all 5, 4 fingers and a thumb,
If I can speak up in my office of PC, right? That's the way. That's the way that this place is going, though. Because what defense do they have? If they're going to allow the transgender to use the excuse of that they were born that way, that there's nothing that they can do about it, that's just the way they feel, and get the courts to accept that. How are they going to prevent pedophiles from using that same excuse?
You're already using it.
The dog humpers to use the same excuse. You know what I'm saying? Or how perverse. Where's the line going to be drawn?
So one line that they've drawn is saying that once consent is established, while the act is taking place, consent cannot be taken away.
Oh,
that's new.
So then that means every motherfucker, every college student that's in there for rape, or the chick said yes at first, and then when she kind of sobered up in the midst of getting her joints ran, she was like, no. Hold on, consent's already good. You know another thing they're doing for the pedophiles, because they're trying to put them with the LGBTQ community now. Yeah. They're trying to say that they can use the LGBTQ community because they're identified with young people because they're young at heart. That's what they're saying. Because they're young at heart, that it's cool for them to have sex with a younger person because they're young at heart.
It's all about how you feel on the inside. Man.
That's basically what they're saying.
That's it.
Right.
You feel like a tree.
Right.
You can be a tree.
And
everybody tell you you're not a tree.
She's married to tree. Yeah, her 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Can't nobody tell her that she can't love that tree.
And she got 2 kids. That tree sired 2 kids.
Oh man, planted a seed. That guy you were talking about that wanted to be a goat for a little while, and then he tried to wear the little things and couldn't hack it.
Yeah, he gave it up.
Bitch, I'm a cow.
I'm not a cat. I do not say meow.
Hey, this is Revelation 17 and 4. It says, and a woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of fornication.
Yeah.
And that's America.
That's America. Yep, that's America. You ask that to anybody else,
America,
they're going to say, we don't know who that is yet, or they're going to say, oh, that's Iran, or they'll say that's the Jewish people, or they'll say that's ancient Rome. And that's not. This person being described, this nation, this kingdom, because if you remember in Jeremiah, it tells you the Most High Was it Jeremiah or Isaiah? The Most High compares us. Well, he likens the daughter of Israel to a comely and delicate woman.
Yeah.
And he views nations and he judges nations as individual, singular beings.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Most High being a masculine, anything these other nations are feminine. Okay.
So even us ourselves are feminine.
We're feminine to the Most High through YAHAWASHI.
Mm-hmm.
He's the bridegroom, we're the bride.
Mm-hmm.
Lord willing, we're of that chosen number. You see, so there has to be, and what is the masculine and feminine role? Masculine is calling the shots. Feminine is following those shots that have been called.
That's right.
That's how it's supposed to work out.
So
This is Jeremiah 6:2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman.
See, so every nation is compared to as women, but we're supposed to be that comely, delicate woman, some beautiful, chaste. Fragile, chaste. You know, a woman of women, basically. You know, they say, oh, that's a man's man. You know, like that's the man's. They used to push that narrative a lot back. You don't see that in movies no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it would always be like Mel Gibson, or who's the guy from Die Hard? Bruce Willis. You know, or John Travolta in Grease.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, you know, it's always some guy.
Jason Statham kicking ass.
Ain't it?
all those guys.
Brad Pitt.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. So they used to push that narrative a lot. Now you don't see that.
Beetlejuice. No.
Hey, they just changed the laws to as far as winning. I think it's the Emmy Award, or maybe it's what's the one for the movies? Is it the
Academy?
It's the Emmys and there's the Oscars. Maybe it's the
Oscars
Academy.
is the movies.
It's the Oscars.
I think Oscars is the movies, right?
Okay,
Oscars
yeah, Emmys is for the music, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Oscars award, they just changed it for Best Picture, like one of the most pristine awards that you can win, right? Like one of the highest fucking awards. They just changed it to where it has to hit 4 categories, which all lines into LGBT, multi-race, you know what I'm saying? Fucking just that little nonsense bullshit. If it gotta hit 2 of the 4 categories, which the 4 categories have to deal with like LGBT or multi-race. So yeah, they just changed that this year.
So all these movies gotta be gay now.
They gotta at least have a gay character, main character, right, or some supporting character. That's gay.
Which that just shows you that America is everything that it complains about other countries.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are forced to do this. You guys don't have any freedom.
Mm.
You don't have any. Look what they're shoving in your face and making you become.
Yeah. That's why making men wear dresses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're making you. Well, actually, not even making them no more, because now it's so normal that if you don't do it, it's just like, oh, well, you see, everybody else was done it. If you ain't doing it, fuck you.
You
Find the next.
You know what, bro?
Yeah.
Just wait till Halloween comes up and you'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, you know, with that demonic ass day coming, hey, they're gonna want this thing opened up somehow. The kids gotta go trick or treating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's really not what it's about. It's really about adults being perverse, man.
Yeah, that's
Just
really
be
what it's
honest,
about.
You know,
Yeah.
and your elites being able to steal your kids. That's it. You know, with pizza and candy. That's it.
And then they're putting them in the pizza again and serving them back to you, motherfucker.
Hey, and a lot of people forgot that McDonald's was found to have a
Human DNA.
and not only just human, child. It was child DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Missing children's. All them children's, man.
Yeah.
And people were still going over there to get that fucking Travis Scott meal with the maggots and the bacon. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is Revelation 17. Babylon, the great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
See, the mother of harlots. So America is teaching everyone else how to be, and all these nations that want to get in good and see these so-called benefits that America is providing, they're taking up and doing exactly as she has done.
Take a picture.
Come.
Because going in on the us being the lamb's bride. Revelation 21:9. It says, "And there came unto me one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife.
See? And that's the elect of the nation of Israel. The 1/3, the 144,000, the elect. That's that small. It's actually also called a great multitude compared to what was saved before in the time of Noah. You know? And I was thinking about that too. I was like, man, the Most High, he's cold. You know, he said he wasn't going to destroy this place by water, which, if the animals didn't get you, you drown.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's messing with your lungs. Say, I'm gonna mess this up by fire. It's like, damn, if the fire doesn't burn you up, the smoke is gonna get you in your lungs. Like, the Most High is cold. Like, what were the ways of death? Remember, was that in Jeremiah?
The dogs to tear, the
Beast.
Beasts of the earth to devour and destroy.
the sword to slay,
I get it. It's in Sirach, the 30.
the pestilence, I believe.
And then what was like the better ways to die too? Remember that?
Yeah, starvation. Anything is better than starvation.
Anything's better than starvation. So it's like, man, the Most High is like, look, you don't gotta starve. I'm just gonna choke you the fuck out.
Oh, you got it.
You know, I'm not gonna use water this time. I'm gonna use that smoke though.
Jeremiah
Fire and that smoke.
I was in the one in Sirach. You grab them from the
That's
one in
kind of
Sirach.
personal to take the breath away from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
'Cause
here,
that's a suffering in itself, where you gotta wait for oxygen. They say it takes about 2 minutes before you go brain dead without oxygen.
Yeah.
And just recently, scientists have found something that they can ingest you with. So if your lungs stop working, these microorganisms will continue to oxygenate your blood flow.
That nanotechnology they be talking about, yeah.
So they're really, you can kind of tell how these scientists, like, they know what the Most High is capable of and what he's gonna do. They're like, well, we're gonna try to combat him at every level.
That's how they're building their defense, is knowing how the attack is coming.
Hey, did not the Pharaoh try to combat everything the Most High came with?
Yeah.
Every time with his
Trying to
sorceries
recreate
and
himself,
soothsayers. Yeah, they recreated some of it. Okay, yeah, you can, but nah, man, you can't do what the Most High does, man.
Yeah.
You can't.
Right.
Hey, just because the magicians can make some water turn red doesn't mean that you still don't got ponds and lakes and rivers full of blood out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because they can, okay, well, can they turn that red back to water? Because then that can help.
Then now we cooking. If you can turn this red back to water, now go turn the rest of that shit back to water.
Right.
Can you turn it into wine?
Yeah.
Hey, you said something about war or something like that. There's something you just mentioned, and it had me thinking about this article I was listening to earlier. You had a UFO encounter, some pilots, Air Force pilots encountered a UFO, and this motherfucker said that it was an act of war committed on behalf of the chariot, and I'm thinking, like, where is this shit gonna go, man?
It's an act of war.
And I was like, okay, like, I'm listening to the article, and I'm like, man, I'm curious to see, like, what did the chariot do that they clapped? And they said, oh, that's an act of war. I'm like, these niggas is desperate, man.
If you're trying to lock onto them, it means you're trying to fire a missile at them.
But
So
they jammed the chariot jammed their whole system to where, like, all the possibilities of the system going berserk, and you know what I'm saying, shit spiking high and going down low and this way, that way, all that happened.
yeah, like how helicopters when they spin around the car, you hear the everything's flipping and turning.
Yeah.
Shit, right. Oh,
And
they
they
still
said-
want the little clock thing going.
They said that was an act of war, man. I'm like, man, Esau gotta go, man.
And well, that's good though, because the Most High's indignation, his whole purpose, is to bring everyone to war.
Together the nations.
So what the fuck do they expect? Like, you know, maybe they're trying to spin it to where they look like the good guys.
Yeah.
And to a lot of people on this planet, America and these other armies and these other nations are gonna appear to be the good guys. You know, but really, they're the bad guys. It's like some of those theories that you see about movies where you're following these good guy characters through like a 10-part series or whatever, and really they're the bad guys the whole time. You know, and it's like, damn, you didn't even realize it. Go ahead.
Can I read this real quick? This is
Pump out these precepts.
2 Corinthians 11:14, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
Yep. For Satan himself, the adversary himself, is transformed into a messenger of the light.
Yeah. Esau trying to
So he's leading the charge into places and getting everyone drunk and like, no, this is the way, this is correct, this is what's right.
Everybody think he's a good guy. No, really, he's the devil, man.
Yep. He's still the adversary.
Judas go leading everybody to death and then shaking the spot right when they about to hit that flame. Oh, you guys got it. I'm gonna step back over here.
Like the cars that be racing, and the parachute pops out.
Oh yeah,
going so
slow
fast.
down.
Yeah. So that's what the Judas go does, man. They just run right off.
Right off.
Shit, he could jump with him and still pull the
Yeah.
All of a
He's on his
sudden,
going.
he's leading the charge towards the cliff. All of a sudden, he needs to pull over to tie his shoe.
Yeah.
But you guys keep going, keep going. Full speed.
Good job, guys.
You're doing great, everybody. You're doing great.
Anybody thirsty?
This is Ecclesiasticus 39, and I'm gonna start at 28. It says, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury."
If I may say, spirits created for vengeance. Out there in LA, you had some young cat smoke 2 cops. Well, they're in critical condition, but he just walked up on. There's a video of it too. Just in Compton, walked up on the side of the squad car, the SUV, just lit him up. Took off running.
New York, they just decreed, the gangsters in New York just decreed any cop that has a drone on anybody, they don't care who the cops got the gun drawn on, they're gonna kill them. They just put that shit's it's in the news. It's like they just sent out a decree to all the gang members in New York. If a cop has his gun drawn on anybody, well, I think all the things said if they got a gun drawn on any niggas, you know, they're gonna kill them. Well, we're gonna see.
Yeah, it's a lot of talk, man.
It's a lot of talk. We're gonna see.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, kind of getting back to like the fires and stuff. You know, it's a time for action for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people have been saying this, that, and the third. And, you know, it's actual people that are lighting these fires out here. You know, it's not just a wildfires. It's actual people that are starting these fires on purpose, man.
If I can say on that note, all those fires that's currently burning in California, Oregon, and Washington, they're all man-made. None of them are natural disasters. None of them are lightning strikes.
None of them are act of God, is what he said.
Yeah.
All right, this is Ecclesiasticus Sirach 39 and 28. It says, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In their time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions and serpents and sword, punishing the wicked to destruction."
If I may say, I was just gonna mention real quick with those fires, the natural wildlife in those areas is gonna be forced to have to migrate. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have a lot of people getting bit by snakes, getting stumped out by some crazy deer, frantic deer, you know, bears eating them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's, you know, because you got to remember they're being exposed to these particles, which is destroying them. You know, for every moment you're out in that shit. You know what I'm saying? So animals already, they can't sweat. When they get tired, they pant, so they just intake more air. So a lot of them are just really just gonna suffocate to death. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, look, destroy them to destroy the earth, man.
That's right.
You know? So, and that was one thing I was telling this brother Ash. I was like, you know, these people that are starting their fires, it almost makes you wonder, like, they got to be from out of state type of shit. Because who in their right mind,
Set some shit on fire where they live.
right, where their own family, elderly people are, children, you know, unless you know, they're also that's one thing they should look into. Well, who are all these people with bunkers?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you have the bunker for? Did you go start the fire and now you're safe over here watching the world burn? Like, what's up? You know, you got to look at motives. You know, you got to kind of like think like, well, what the hell is the what do people get into?
Remember an article I sent out with how the magistrate or one of the Supreme Justice had the Harvard do a study on why so many blacks are incarcerated more than whites.
Oh, yes.
And they said that a black person will never be convicted of a heinous crime over a white person. That's the only thing that a black person will never be convicted over a white person with a heinous crime, something like arson and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be more white folks that could be convicted of that. So if a nigga was to get caught, they'd be like, nah, he didn't do that because it's too severe.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was something like a serial rape or some fucking crazy murder or some shit, they're not gonna look at niggas. Are gonna look at white folks. No, that's what they found in the study. So like that arson shit, you know, we all know that's white folks. Niggas ain't out here burning up fucking the trees and shit. They about to go burn down Gap before they burn down this
burn
forest.
burn down Target.
Yeah.
And I can go burn a forest down.
Yeah, the forest ain't did nothing to us. It's helping us breathe.
Niggas ain't going into that forest. What? The forest? Nah.
I'm good.
Yeah, Jake doesn't even buy boots to go hiking.
Exactly.
It's all
they gonna
made street shoes.
They gonna take their Jordans.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
They gonna take their Jordans
just about to say
into the
that, bro.
woods.
That's the spirit, man. Jake gonna go hiking in Air Force Ones, man.
They might buy a pair of feelers and
Get
go.
some white ones too, though. That's what fucked up.
You'll see Jake hiking in some football cleats before you see him hiking in some fucking boots.
He's got good traction, bro.
Looking like a fucking Somalian refugee.
Man.
Leather coat, warm-ups, and some spike cleats.
Yeah, that's terrible.
From conversations
alright.
past. Let me
It's alright, it's alright.
let me grab one of these at least. This is Matthew chapter 7 verse this is something that you asked for a little earlier, you wrote. This is Matthew chapter 7 verse 13. It says, "Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth into life, and few there be that find it."
Yeah, talking about the path of least resistance. People will take the broad way because it's not difficult. It's a path of least resistance. You see, so when it comes to pursuing righteousness, which is something that you have to internalize and self-reflect a lot on, and do a lot of self-correction. A lot of people don't want to face themselves, and it's easier to be a part of society or any society that's wicked because you'll be given that pass of, oh, well, that's just how he is. Oh, he was born that way. They're looking to give you that reason and excuse and believe your bullshit so that they can tell you their bullshit and you can believe their bullshit too, and you guys can sit in a harmony of disagreement.
Just like Christianity.
Yeah.
When Constantine,
we've even experienced the physical, you know, where with guys like that, where the, you know, it's like, you know, these guys don't believe the same thing, but just out of spite, they'll get together and they'll powwow, you know, and the only thing they have in common is, you know, a disdain,
the color of their skin,
you know, or something. Exactly, you know what I'm
The
saying?
fact that they don't like this group,
Right.
or this belief, or
But
this
they still
whatever.
don't disagree. They still disagree on a lot of other
the
things.
only
But
thing they got in common is that they both breathe oxygen.
yeah, you'll see that a lot with people. You'll see that a lot with
Legs.
with people, man. So yeah, the path of least resistance is a path for the wicked. You know, so you're pursuing this truth and this knowledge and this correction of your life, and you know, I was talking to this brother about it the other day. The scripture tells us that in your patience possess ye your souls, man. And patience is the way that you behave while you're waiting. So
the manner in which you suffer.
the way that you behave while you're suffering, because it's like, I mean, you could be burning alive, but it's like, are you freaking out about it, or are you calm, cool, and collected? You know what I'm saying? Because literally, that's what we're in a fire right now. We're in a furnace of affliction. But how are you dealing with it? How are you behaving while you're under the hammer? You see, that's the whole thing. Are you calm, cool, and collected like Daniel was? That's showing you a lot. See, so that's really what it means to be patient, is the way that you behave while you're waiting. You see it all the time in like they'll show you emergency rooms. There's someone sitting there with an axe in their forehead. You know, there's someone sitting there with a drill bit in their chest or something. You know,
The movie Beetlejuice.
yeah.
Remember the hospital scene?
Yeah,
Where
he's
they
sitting
had
there with his shrunken head.
Yeah.
Another dude's the voodoo guy sitting there, and
to spring some shit on that one dude's head, and his head shrunk and shit.
who was impatient? Beetlejuice was impatient.
That's why you got his head strong.
He was sitting there, all fidgety. Everyone else was cool and calm, like, bro, what the fuck else we got to do? Like, just chill.
We're all dead.
Bro, yeah, just chill out. But he was the only one that was fidgeting. He's like, moving around. So he was impatient, and so his impatience got him that shrunken head. Michael Keaton, I think that was.
Yes, Michael Keaton.
So yeah, you gotta. It's really about the manner in which you behave, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This is quoting what the brother Lightweight quoted this Ashiar just now, because he said that we're all dead. This is Colossians 3:3. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Hamashiach in the Most High.
Yep, your life is hid because it's a mystery whether or not we're going to receive the salvation, man. Whether we receive a deliverance. So, in not knowing, that should curb your appetite to be more on point. Rather than these other people out there. Like we're in phase 2, and really, it's phase 2. Like, but you got people that want to continue life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So they're going out and doing all this extracurricular shit in their companies and stuff. Like, we want to make money still. Like, everyone's got to pay bills type of shit. So they're relaxing the laws a little bit, right? They're like, well, we're still in phase 2, so we'll probably be here forever, because people are finding out, that you can still live your life in phase 2, quote unquote, and so this is becoming normalized. So then it's like, okay, to get rid of the masks and to open it back up, it's never going to be the same. But here, take this vaccine or get this microchip. Others, and 10% off on everything you purchase, 15% off on delivery. All this stuff that you've seen through advertisements and that has progressed over the years, it's all going to culminate towards this grand prize of this mark of this beast, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's all it is. It's just human conditioning, man. So the path of least resistance is what the wicked will always take. You got that in Ezra?
Mm-hmm. I got it. This is 2nd Ezra 7. We'll start at 2. It says, and he said unto me, Up, Ezra, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on, my Lord, or my power. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. When who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is another thing. A city is built.
So you see, he said, how could you come into this great big pasture, right? This big opening with all these things. If it's great and it's deep and it's something to rule over, there must be plenty of resources in there. But you got to go through this narrow path to get there. Mm-hmm. It's going to be difficult. Anything that's narrow is difficult. You see it when you're driving narrow roads, lanes. They get smaller. They don't widen.
Especially going through a mountain pass.
Yeah, there's certain roads out here that we go cruising on, and it's only big enough for one car. If another car's coming, one of you's got to either back up, or someone's going to be close enough to pull into someone else's driveway.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, man, you're going through all this, and by the time you get out and you see like that big open view of the water and stuff, it's like, man, that was dope.
It's dope.
It was worth it.
Should open up on you.
You see?
But it's hard to get to.
It's hard to get to.
It was difficult and it was stressful and it was hard and not everybody wants to take that road. But once you get to the end of that road,
yep. And imagine the people that live there. You got to wind down, get through all this. The people that built the house, everyone's got to take this path. But once you get there and you see your end product, your end result, the reward is very fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a no-brainer. So when you experience stuff like that, it just brings more life to the scriptures.
Verse 6, it says, there is also another thing. A city is built and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow and set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water.
Right. So how many people would really take this venture? You know, a lot of people are thrill seekers and they'll climb rocks and they'll go cave diving and cave exploring and spelunking and broken down warehouses and barns and all this stuff. And what rewards do they get? Carnal rewards. We're talking about something bigger than money and bigger than a tangible item. We're talking about immortality and super, what people know and understand now as supernatural or superpowers, man. Like, you mean to tell me you watch all this shows and stuff about people being able to fly or just telekinetic abilities or get along with animals or all this stuff, and you're like, nah, I'm not gonna try to even get that stuff. It's cool as hell. I'm just gonna keep watching the show, man. And then you join some little, weeb ass club where you talk about, well, I think he should have did this instead of that. It's like, man, you just living vicariously through carnal bullshit, man. So what we're talking about is spiritual, okay? But it's gonna have a physical manifestation very soon.
Verse 8, it says, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once.
See, so this is in the path of least resistance. There's a great resistance in coming into this truth, in pursuing salvation, man, in pursuing deliverance. It's not as easy as wearing fringes and changing your diet. Because that's what a lot of guys will teach. Well, how do I do this or what? Well, you gotta grow your beard, you gotta stop smoking, you gotta eat right, and you gotta wear your fringe. That, like, how else is rehearsing the righteous acts? Like, it's thing that you gotta do. It's a real person that you need to become, man. It's not just something that you're playing Israel, put on the garment and always acting, talking a certain way. Come on, man. There's a wide scope of change that has to take place, man. Just because you know Hebrew or all the breakdowns and you're supreme with the book, chapter, verse, those are all very good traits to have. Those are all very good things. We should all be on those levels, man. But is that really what the Most High is going to come back looking at? Like, and he knows all the breakdowns. Hey, the Most High look at the hearts and intents of men. He trieth their reins. He puts them in situations, see where they're going to go.
With his way, and straightway forgive what manner of man he was. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, like you said, the inwards action.
It said to continue therein. You got to keep fighting the fight, man. You don't stop.
Yeah, Apostle Hart just mentioned in a video. We was watching a day this morning. He mentioned you pretty much you in this truth until the Lord
physically die. Yeah.
the Lord take you out or you get delivered.
Yep.
And I remember Apostle Gabbard, he had said, the only way I'm going to get out of this truth is if the Most High take me out. That's the attitude you're supposed to have. You're not looking to have your mind and the spirit pull. Starve out the wicked nigga, man. You only got enough food to feed one. And you got to make a decision. Are you going to feed this left-handed dude or the right-handed guy. You see, so that's the strength you're supposed to carry with you, man. You know, you might get physically frail and things like that. Who gives a shit? Hey, your spirit's got to burn as hot as it's ever been, man. You got to fight for the things you care about. Otherwise, because if you don't, right, and you don't progress and you don't change, then it's evident that you don't give a shit. Being a doer of the word and not a hearer only, man. Otherwise, you're like a man that, you know, you look at yourself in the reflection and you straightway forget, you know, what type of person you're supposed to be, man. You see it, okay, it's a vain moment, and you move on and you don't remember, okay, I'm supposed to keep these standards about myself. Beard wasn't cut, you know what I'm saying? Hair wasn't like a woman's, you know, presentable, right? And you carry on with that gait, man. Carry on with the proper gait. Let this brother finish and then we'll get that.
This is James 1 and 25. Yep, verse 25. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. See, it said, don't be a forgetful hearer, because we'll hear something and be like, that's good, I like that. But then straight away you forgot. What matter? You didn't put it into action.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of rehearsing the righteous acts. You're building up habits. It's hard to break bad habits. I get that. It is very difficult. But it's not impossible. Just because something is difficult, like we're talking about, a path of least resistance, getting to this kingdom, getting that crown, it's narrow. You can only go one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't all just bull parade through it. It's not going to work that way. It's got to go with humbleness, humility, in order, man. Let all things be done decently and in order.
Mm-hmm.
So the hardest thing to do is exactly that when you're outside of yourself, when you get emotionally and carnally invested in something that you just want to lash out and react in a physical manner. That's not going to get you anywhere. That's not going to get you're going to lose favor in the Most High's sight, man. You're like, nah, man, this dude, like, he ain't right. You know, just chill out, man. Have patience. In your patience, possessing your soul. In your suffering is where you have some control, man. How do you behave while you're suffering?
Quick precept. This is Matthew chapter 19, verse 26. It says, but YAHAWASHI beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with the Heavenly Father all things are possible.
See? So are you praying? Are you believing in your prayers? You know what I'm saying? Like, man, belief is YAHAWASHI, when he returns, is he going to find faith in the earth, man? Is he going to find those that have been faithful, that have been believing, you know, that have been praying and having wholehearted intentions in righteousness, man? With judgment, mercy, and faith, the weightiest matters of the law, man. Go ahead, Ash.
This is you had said the Lord looks on the intents of men. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 54. Behold, the Lord knoweth all the works of men, their imaginations, their thoughts, and their hearts, which spake but the word, let the earth be made, and it is made. Let the heavens be made, and it was created. In his word were the stars made, and what it containeth. He hath shut the sea in the midst of the waters, and his word hath he hanged the earth upon the waters. He spreadeth, I'm going to jump down to verse 60, life and understanding. Yea, and the Spirit of the Almighty, YAHAWAH, which made all things, and searcheth out all the hidden things and the secrets of the earth. Surely he knoweth your inventions, and what ye think in your hearts. Even them that sin, and would hide their sin. Therefore hath the Lord exactly searched out all your works, and he in that day.
There's nothing hid in the sight of the Most High. His eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. And brothers will quote that, and you'll see a lot of men learning, but they don't really understand what that means. The Most High just broke it down to you how everything is created with Him and by Him. Right? The original FUBU. Okay? Okay? Or Bye-bye. For Israel, by Israel.
Bye-bye.
Okay? So here it is, the Most High created and is all knowing of everything, and you got someone that'll hide their character. You know, you might have a bad thought and be like, man, you got to wrestle that thought away, right? And rebuke that. You got to make, man, that's Satan. That's pure Satan, man. You know, and the difference between us and between Israelites and Edomites, okay, inherently, Israel, you might have a fucked up thought, I'm gonna kill that motherfucker, right? But they won't do it. Edom, right? They'll go do it, and then they'll need a defense. Oh, it was an act of passion, you know. They slept with my wife. It was an act of passion. You know what I'm saying? Jake's just like, shit, that whole was part of the game, man. That's it. You know.
There's a video on Real Store. This Jake had a house that he owned that he was renting out to.
Oh, they broke all their shit.
Yeah, he was like, oh, "Give that bitch and her kids," you know, like he was saying that shit. But then there was somebody towards the end of the video that came to the house, somebody he knows or whatever. But it went from, if I see that bitch, I'll kill that bitch, her kids too, or whatever, to like, it went from that to like, man, that bitch lucky, man. She's lucky, man, you know.
Once Jake vents, it's like, okay, I done spoke it now. I'm like, I'm good now.
Yep.
Esau's not satisfied. He's not even satisfied with blood.
He won't even say it though. He'll just go do it.
Yeah.
You know, a real wicked person, really, they're not even going to vocalize it. They'll make it happen. And that's how you know who the wickedest people are. They're people of wicked action. You know what I'm saying?
Won't say shit, just do that.
Just do it. Yeah.
Just for your ass.
That's why the scripture tells you their feet be swift to run to mischief, man.
Yeah.
You know, they consort to shed blood, man.
Yeah, they lose sleep unless they cause of one to fall.
That's how they get their enjoyment. So the Most High, He knows the psychological minds of everybody, man. Go ahead.
This is Habakkuk 2:5. Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man.
So like if we go back, right? Because we're talking about in Revelation, back in when the brother was reading in chapter 17. Verse 4 and 5. Yeah, verse Snooky, right? Louis Vuitton was sending her. No. Who was it? It was Gucci was sending her Louis Vuitton bags, so that people would be more like, that trash ass bitch has Louis Vuitton. I don't want Louis Vuitton. I'm gonna get Gucci. You know, it was another competitor. Gucci was sending her that shit to trash it out. You know, so like, yeah. See, trashy ass people buy that shit. You know, so it's all psychological, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's showing you how the fashion dictates that America is the main central hub, and it pushes it out, their vibration throughout the whole world. So going from the female to the woman, you see how the correlation is the same. You see?
Continuing Habakkuk 2:5, midway through, it says, not to keep it at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell.
That's America. He doesn't stay at home, constantly colonizing, removing people that aren't down with the program, getting more resources for themselves, enlargeth his desire as hell. He just dig a bigger grave, make it as big as he wants, goes and gets into everybody's shit. Go ahead.
And is as death and cannot be satisfied.
And is as death and cannot be satisfied. There's nothing like a meter or a little fill in the gauge where it's like, oh, there's enough dead people, we're good. That's it. No, the earth can fit them all in there.
Yeah.
Forever. Because it's going to decompose from ash to ashes and dust to dust.
Yeah. Come from the earth.
Yeah. That's it. You're going to go. Everything goes back. Everything loses its moisture and goes back to dust.
Yeah.
Everything. You know. Rain goes down. It does what it does. The heat and the moisture gets built up. It gets sent back up, In the Amazon, they've already found that there's a living rivers in the air. You'll see these big white rivers of moisture, and they just cycle through and they come back, and they're living rivers in the air, man.
The living airflow.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
Yeah, check it out, man.
That's dope.
Air is alive. Shit.
Yeah.
I got a precept.
I got something.
Was that it?
No, a little more. It says, "But gathereth unto him all nations, and heaveth unto him all people." If I may say something.
Yeah, that's America. Yeah.
There was this. Matter of fact, let me grab it. Y'all brothers can speak because it goes in on that air.
What?
I got something directly goes with
I got something as well.
Go. You got
Okay.
it.
All right. This is Proverbs chapter 6, starting at verse 16. It says, "These 6 things doeth the Most High hate; yea, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift to running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren."
You see where the Most High's focus is on character development. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, this is shit you teach a toddler.
Mm-hmm.
It's not difficult. But still and yet, 2/3 of Israel are going to be destroyed because they can't get it, man. They're not meant to achieve that level of greatness, man. Because really, getting that is just the next step into receiving that immortal body, that true perfection, man. So what we're fighting for is huge, man. You know, it should be a very big deal to all of us, man. But 2/3 would not listen. Go ahead.
This is Nahum 3:1. It says, "Woe to the bloody city! It is all full of lies and robbery, and the prey departeth not. The noise of a whip, and the noise of the rattling of wheels, and of prancing horses, and of the jumping chariots. The horsemen lift up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses." Verse 4 says, "Because of the multitude of the well-favored harlot, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcraft. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame."
See? So the Most High is about exposing things, opening things up. He already knows all things, but he's going to lay it out for everyone to see. Because when his judgment comes out, there can't be no, well, we didn't understand. We didn't know. No, the Most High is fair and just. Remember, he's the supreme judge. So a judge, what do? When they give you the verdict and stuff, they let you know why. We found you guilty on 4 counts of this, and all the evidence has already been put out there. Everyone's seen it. The jury's seen it. Everybody's seen it. And the judge weighs the matter, and he gives you the sentence, whatever that decree may be. But we know that for this world, look, everyone's going to be taken out of power, and the only person who's going to be put in power is YAHAWASHI, okay, and his elect. That's it. That's the new governing class. It's the world to come. Okay, we don't need these technologies and all this shit, man. If you notice, this made a lot of people stupider, man.
Yeah.
You forget how to spell. You forget where shit's at on the map.
You don't remember numbers.
You don't remember no numbers.
You don't. A lot of people don't even use this for actual like emergencies, like now. Like how many people are actually checking? When I went to this thing, it showed me that there was only 1,000 likes for the air quality, because now you can like everything and thumbs everything.
That's
right?
just fucking retarded, man.
Right, but it's another way to census things.
Yeah, how many people are watching this? Yeah.
Right, and then also like if you favorite something, it's saved, so you have it cataloged for yourself. But they're seeing, it's all just algorithms that they're learning what people like, what they don't like, why are they reacting to this, why are they not. But either way, it was like I was saying, it's just 1,000 people. There's more than 1,000 people in a 25-mile radius.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, who the fuck is actually paying attention to this shit?
More than 1,000 people go into a Safeway in a couple hours.
Yeah, and they don't give a shit about nothing. You know, if anything, they're looking at fuck, what's gonna happen, man. Until it happens and their way of life is disrupted, then they're all up in arms about something. But the steps that it took to get there, they completely ignore it, man.
Yeah.
You know. So this is why we are not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. You can't be ignorant of Satan's devices. You gotta, he walketh about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. He's telling on himself constantly. The scriptures tell you that. You know, he falls on his own tongue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he tells on himself, man.
Mosiah said he was gonna lift those skirts up.
Yep. What does it mean if a woman's wearing a skirt and it's lifted up? What does that mean?
Everything's
Her
exposed.
goodies are exposed.
Everything's out there. Everything's
Yeah.
out there.
You see everything.
Full beef.
It's 47, man.
Yeah.
Come.
This is Isaiah 42 and 18. It says, "Hear ye deaf, and look ye blind, that ye may see. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as..."
He said, that's cold blooded, bro. A deaf messenger.
Hey, don't tell him this.
You got it.
You got it?
They on there.
Yeah, nigga, he talking about when he take off running, he talking about get the fuck out of my way. Hey, he go, Andre, he gonna bump into him like old dude on Boys in the Hood last night.
Watch out, man.
Did you chat on that?
No,
Just dripping it off.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It says, who is blind? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Lord's servant, seeing many things, but thou observest not, opening the ears, but he heareth not. The Lord is well. That's a point.
Yeah, and that's, you know, Isaiah spoke on that again another time, which is, you know, in them, which YAHAWASHI quoted, telling the disciples that in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, having eyes to see, perceive not, ears to hear, understand not.
Yeah.
And so, how can they really relay the truth of a message if they haven't? Obviously, you're not reciting, you're not living what you were instructed to do. So it's plain to see, you know, that although many of our people go to church, although many of our people own a Bible or are familiar with, you know, the concept of church or a Bible, they don't know what the hell's going on. They're like, yeah, God's a woman. Like, what the fuck? Like, how do you? They come up with all this weird ass shit, man. You see? So how can they really know except and that was the beautiful thing about the eunuch in, what was it, the Book of Acts, where he said, how can I learn
Yes, I be taught.
unless I be taught? Someone's got to teach me. And so that's a humbling thing in itself, to where you as a person, if you haven't internalized that you need guidance, and that, you know, because really that's where it begins. It begins with telling yourself that I'm stupid, I know nothing. Let me sit and let me learn.
And then you have a problem. They teach you that in the world with fucking drugs and alcohol. Hey, the first step is admitting you got a problem.
Yep.
So the first step to coming to the Most High is admitting that
Because
that
a lot
you're a
of-
piece of shit.
A lot of people don't want to say that they're wrong.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing for people to do, is to admit that they are wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and women especially. Women, they'll reverse talk to themselves in a type of way, so they'll get with the guy and be like, oh, I can't be doing this, I have a boyfriend. And then they keep doing the
Just
act.
like we said earlier.
And then they'll say it again, and so that in their mind they're like, I told him I had a boyfriend. But you kept doing it.
Yeah, but you didn't stop.
You didn't get out the car though.
Like
Right.
you mentioned earlier about the
Right.
chick to get the train ran on her. You know what I'm saying? At first she's all like she's with it, but then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She tried to flip it in her mind that somehow they're in the wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When
Because now it's
she
too many
said it to-
dudes into now you counted 5 more than they said it was.
Yeah.
Now you're in your feelings. Man, so you don't want to lay down and open your legs and let all 10 of these niggas come in you.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't nobody else's fault but yours.
What's the chick that said she got pregnant from getting a train ran on her?
Yeah.
And she
She
didn't
said
care.
she's proud of it.
care.
She don't care. And,
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's just the point. Is you have to be able to admit that
You're wrong.
that you're wrong, and that's the hardest thing for a person to do is to admit that they're wrong.
A
Look at
proud
Donald.
person.
Yeah, that's what pride is, man. Departing from your maker. Not, you know what I'm saying? Like that's.
So I don't
No,
know.
go ahead.
I want to just read this real quick because you mentioned that the floating river or something like that, and that's pretty much water and oxygen and all that. But this is pertaining to the 5G. This is from the Fullertoninformer.com. It says massive 5G millimeter wave weaponry calibration. It says all gathering places like theme parks, hotels, schools, universities, stadiums, churches, theaters, cruise ships, planes, trains, restaurants, and businesses. Everything will be closed and off limits, even the streets at night. It says this is being done so you cannot see all of the finishing touches going into the electromagnetic weaponry. The weaponry is going to undergo remote testing. They cannot have people in the places when it is tested because of the deadly effects it will have. The weaponry is being remotely tested, and they are doing last-minute installations where it has not gone in yet. It is being tuned, honed, and prepared for the final throw on switch and to put the finishing touches on the holes in coverage. This is a massive weaponized frequency upgrade and infrastructure changeover. The technology being pushed now will attack both iodine and oxygen. And that's both dealing with okay, let me see. It says I predicted this over 2 years ago, and they are now red herring, so they can work with no one paying attention to the weaponry, as they make you bring even more of it into your home. When they turn on the oxygen molecule and iodine molecule frequencies in these Wi-Fi routers, access points, and antenna arrays, you will see the depths, and they will blame on some bogus virus and will force the vaccines, quarantines, and relocations. They will. That's pretty much the point. But yeah, so that shit when they flip the numbers that they're reporting with corona deaths is all cap. But when they flip that switch, you're really gonna see
that's gonna be the initial second wave. They're gonna add it. They're gonna try to charge that to the second wave of corona.
You know what I'm saying? Which that deals solely with your blood. So pretty much. Let me grab a scripture.
Blood and oxygen go hand in hand because blood will help oxygen get to your brain, to your body.
Red blood cells carry oxygen throughout your body.
Yeah, so they go hand in hand. So they're destroy niggas.
Yep. The prince and power of the air, man.
This is Leviticus 17 and 11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls, for it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul.
Yeah, so this devil, you can see his whole plan is to corrupt and disrupt everything, because if he's able to do that, then logically he would think that he could reverse it, which would make himself as the Most High, because that's his whole agenda, is to sit on the throne of the Heavenly Father, to be above all things and all people, which is a weird conundrum that he puts himself in, because if he's fighting for a birthright that was given to him, how is he going to surpass a power that gave him
the birthright?
And so that's how you know this man is like the fucking Joker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He doesn't know what to do. He's not going to know what to do when he catches that tire. When he catches up to the car, He's not gonna know what to do. He's just, I got it. See,
He's just a dog with his tail flapping, you know.
Yeah, 50-pound fucking dog compared to a 2,000+ pound vehicle.
Right.
It's not even in the same weight category, man. The car would never be afraid of a dog.
No.
So
The dog, man, hit that dog explode like that.
hit him so hard
like
he's
that
gonna
dude.
shit on the tire, you know.
Like that dude. Well, guys, I guess that's it.
Well, I guess that's it then.
I was thinking,
they're in the uproar over that, bro.
Are
Oh
they?
yeah,
Yeah,
they took it off.
It took them like 4 or 5 days to get it off of Twitter, but they went crazy, boy. There was articles on the news break. They're like, there's a very upsetting thing on TikTok that people are really trying to get down. Some guy, they explained that I started dying like that guy's filthy. Why you want to take that down, man?
They were talking about criminal charges for anybody who shared it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because people are really disturbed off there. Like, oh
It's
my god,
Edomites.
you don't gotta look at it.
It's
All you
Edomites.
do is push the little thing and flip up, and it'll skip it.
It's Edomites. That Edomites don't want to show. If it was a J,
Which one?
You're watching this video, and now you're gonna be upset. You watched the whole fucking thing. It ain't like it just comes on and boy blows his head off. He talks for like
Majority
15,
of the
20
video.
seconds, and he said, "Okay, all right, that's it," and then bow, and then he blows his head off.
It's realistically only the last 3 seconds of that video that's
Disturbing.
That's gruesome.
Well, not even disturbing to me. That shit.
That's gruesome. That's not safe for work,
that's
right?
not PC
Yeah,
friendly.
and that's,
SFW.
there you go.
Yeah, it's not PC friendly. You know what I'm saying?
Dude was like, "Have you seen that video?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
He's like, "Man, I was reading about it, but." He's like, I didn't see it. And I was like, oh man. And then he was like, oh, I was gonna show him, and he's like, man, they got like criminal charges for people that still got or that are sending the video out and da 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 da. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. I don't even know where I saw that.
How the fuck are you gonna get somebody criminal charges for showing a video of something that somebody else did to themselves?
Well, this is the thing. This always tripped me up. You know how sometimes loud music you can get a ticket for it.
Noise disorders.
Okay, so it's like, why do they even allow sound systems and shit to be made? But then you're gonna criminalize somebody for fucking
using it.
Yeah, same thing.
Limitations. There's gotta be limits and limitations.
Well, tell that to the fucking police officer with them damn sirens and the fucking ambulance with their
with
sirens and shit.
With the video, for whatever platform that shit is uploaded on, as quick as fucking Esau can take down the Elders and Apostles videos. If it's really that much of a problem, y'all wouldn't even have let that shit get uploaded, or as soon as it was uploaded and your screening process saw this nigga blow his head off, snatch the video down.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I think that falls on whoever's like watching or surveying it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because YouTube has strict upload policies. TikTok really doesn't. Maybe they will now. You know what I'm saying? Because there's videos that get taken down for less.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's some that don't at all, and it's really at the discretion of whoever's watching it. Just like at the YouTube facility, it depends on the person watching it. They have to determine, does this fit the criteria of X, Y, and Z? Like we're talking about with the Grammys. Does this movie fit the criteria of X, Y, and Z to be nominated for Best Picture of the Year? You know, so I mean, yeah, we're just stuck in a wicked system, man. You know, that's really what the simulation is, what the Matrix is us here stuck in this wicked society, and there's nowhere on this planet or this world where we can go to escape wickedness, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if we were,
It says, therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith the Lord in thy power that pleadeth the cause of his people, because I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury, thou shalt no more drink it again, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflicted thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground, as the street, to them that went over.
Break it down.
Oh, come, yeah. This is what Esau, man. That cup that we've been drinking is the cup that Esau was supposed to drink of, man. But yeah, we've drunk that cup, and now that cup is going to Esau, man. Because what has he done, man? He's afflicted the apple of the Heavenly Father's eye. You know, the Negroes, Latinos, Native and Seminole Indians. You know, we're the ones that Esau has, walked over to come to get to where he's going, man. You know.
Can I read this just real quick? Because you was talking about Jake. There's nowhere we can go that will have peace right on this planet. Now this is how dumb Jake is. It's from CNN from September 12th, which was yesterday. It says 19 families buy nearly 97 acres of land in Georgia to create a city safe for black people.
Yeah, and guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna start committing adultery.
Yeah.
That's one of the first things Jake's gonna do is they're gonna start
fucking each other's wives, yeah.
Yep.
And they're gonna kill each other for that shit.
And the kids are gonna grow up seeing like, damn, see, we're just tore up. It's gonna happen, man.
It's either that or they're not gonna get the same resources that they'll get outside of that little bullshit.
But even yet and still, what is this city based off of? What examples do they have that they're gonna build off of?
Right.
Hotel.
Tulsa.
Esau, yeah. Because that's what's gonna work. So they're gonna have to set up everything that is destroying the so-called black lives.
Yeah.
Are they gonna have a Planned Parenthood?
Right. Are they gonna have
where are they gonna get the hospital?
Yeah.
How much of a city are they gonna build? Is it strictly residential? Is there any commercial? Are there resources? Are there?
Is there a school?
Yeah. Do they have their own power grid? Water? What are they doing? Like,
Are they a sovereign or are they a part of the United States?
How much is the government giving to them for grants and loans and
there's a lot of things to be
and
right. There's a lot of things to be looked at. Just the title alone gives us a lot of questions. But you can see how vast it's like. Well, how these are inside the walls. They're not, and that's who their enemy was. The enemy was inside the walls. There was always somebody inside their group, close to them, that was fucking shit up.
The scripture tell you, your enemies should be those of your household.
Yep. So they can't escape the curse, and that was another point I was going to make, which was even if we got to get away and be safe somewhere, it's still us that's the problem. The curses are on us forever to identify who we are.
Yeah.
We don't have a flesh.
A leopard can't change his spots.
Yep.
The Ethiopian can't change his skin.
That which is crooked cannot be made straight.
So they're just creating a huge
Financial
huge
problems for
negative
themselves.
thumbprint.
Yeah.
For what they don't want to be associated with, man. You really just gotta live. Part of pursuing. Without those things, it's like you'd be stuck with yourself, and it's like, man, you got to be a very, very strong person to be alone, isolated by yourself, man. You got to have a heavy spirit. The spirit's got to be heavy on you to be able to operate, man. So, yeah, we're exactly where we need to be. On our perspective of cities, towns, homes, locations, states, counties, what have you. Most High has us exactly where we need to be.
Yeah, best judges of a situation is somebody who's already been through talking about a situation and trying to explain it, and you could see, okay, well, I already did this and I know how it felt and looked. So now you're looking for those indicators in the other, and you can judge that situation like, I think it was more like this. Did you feel this when it happened, or did you feel that?
Yeah. Right, and those are the better teachers, or those that have that experience. Yeah, and you'll see that a lot of times with like certain politics. They'll show it in certain movies and stuff. Into the scenario, and it's like that's not going to work over here. It's one thing I've seen America do is they put everything's an acronym. Like the president of the United States is now POTUS, right? So then you get these other people from foreign countries coming over, and now they have to learn all these acronyms, but their languages are more pure than the English language, because the English language is based off of Hebrew, Greek, Latin, French, German, Spanish, right? It's a bastardized language, but these other languages are more close to their original root or original setting. So it's a very direct word or thing that they say. So you see them trying to take on that American, air about, and it's total confusion. They can't do it, and I mean, fuck. It's just pure confusion, and that's how you know that this is the mystery Babylon. America, you remember Babylon literally means confusion. That's where you get the word, our modern day for the word to babble goes back to Babel. Just many languages all mixed together. That's a sign to let you know don't do it. As we were discussing earlier, this is one of the best places to be, surrounded by all this wickedness. Because look, I'm in the lion's den. Look, I'm in the fire. Look, I'm on the ark. It's supposed to give you that mentality of look, no one else is realizing what the hell is going on, but I do, so that it should help you focus a little bit.
I'm in the danger and I'm doing right.
Got two precepts for you. Yep. First one, Isaiah 24 and 10. It says, "The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in." See? And then next one is prologue to Sirach. This is the second paragraph. At the bottom, it says, "For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language." See?
And that's one of America's biggest weapons is their words, man.
You speak.
Double speak.
Yep, because they can say something, but because of the way that they say it and the words that they create, it won't sound as bad or as threatening. Really, it's like, no, this guy.
He's saying some wicked shit. Like, I'm about to kill the whole lots of everybody in this crowd. But he say with big ass nice words, and they're like, hell yeah. He's really talking about killing every single one of you motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's what they use in the. I'm sorry if I.
No,
that's what they use in the court system. That's what they
double
use
speak.
in
It's
the
called double speak.
Legislature.
Yeah.
The government, different government branches, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. That's that double speak.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Look at Trump, right? He'll say all this stuff, but then he'll actually have a rally with no social distancing, no COVID testing, no masks. People are cheering. There's particles all throughout the air.
If I
right?
can,
and you never hear anything bad about did anyone actually catch COVID at these things. It's always swept under the rug. His whole he's the embodiment of perfect wickedness, man. I really appreciate that from him. He's the embodiment and the perfect poster child for a Caucasian, a typical American, man.
Right, true American.
Yeah, true American hero, man.
The old ass brat.
Yeah.
That's what's huge in the news right now is that he did a series of interviews with this guy, and the guy just released it this past week.
Bob something, the guy that wrote the book.
Yeah, the one that wrote the book, but it's stated in there when the coronavirus first started up about how Trump was saying that it's a hype. No, he was saying all the shit that the fucking the health people were saying. Oh, it's a highly infectious disease. It's worse than the flu. It's blah 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 blah. And then in that same week that he did that interview, he went out to the public and was like, "Hey, this mask thing is a hoax. The coronavirus is a hoax and blah blah blah." So it's like, hey, well, which side were you lying to the American people or were you lying in your interview?
Yeah.
Like which one where was your lie at? Because you clearly you have to believe one way or the other, but you told both sides. So which one's the truth? Which one is the one? So
and what did he say?
He's Trump, man. He's gonna Trump his
He's
way
gonna
out.
double speak all the way out of that motherfucker.
Well, in China.
Right?
His little niece or whatever is exposing his ass too. She's like, he been doing this to the family for years. He lies about this, he lies about that. He'll tell this part of the family this, and then this part of the family that. And he's just a manipulator, she says. Like, everything he does, he's manipulating
It's
every
normal for
situation.
His track record. How did he get his buildings? He would get all these people to build his buildings, and then he wouldn't pay them. And he'll
Make
tell
them sue
them,
him.
"You take me to court."
Yeah.
And he'll have them in litigations for years where they can't pay their lawyers for years upon years to try to fight this money that they were supposed to get 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because now they're spending money they're making now just to try to get the money they missed from 2 years ago. So they're like, man, fuck it.
Yeah.
So that's how he gets all his buildings. He just don't pay them motherfuckers. And
That's
they don't want to take him to court because they don't want to lose more money trying to fight this shit.
And he doesn't pay taxes
That's
on it
demon,
because he does
man.
that tax evasion. And
Yep.
But they let this dude become the president, knowing what he does to Negroes, Latinos, and Native and Seminole Indians, because those are the ones that are doing the construction, man. Those are the workforce of construction. Edomites, they don't really.
Well, he screwed over a bunch of Edomites because the original companies were all owned by Edomites.
Yeah.
And he destroyed family businesses. But you get a lot of people that'll back him up because, like, well, he's a businessman and you don't understand. You got to lose money to make money, and they have all these excuses for him. Basically, he can do no wrong, and he said that himself, and his own supporters prove it. He's like, look, I could shoot somebody in the middle of the street. Everybody could watch me do it, and I'd be innocent. Like, hey, he's the perfect Edomite, man.
Because the first thing they gonna do is like, what did that dude do to make him shoot him?
Right.
Now they want to question what the dude did to make him do this crime.
Everything is a spin.
Yeah.
Everything is a spin.
Well, luckily for us, we got 4 more years. So.
Yeah.
drive this bitch into the ground, Trump. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, that's some real
We
shit.
gonna see.
That's
We
real
gonna
shit.
see, baby.
We're gonna see, but the scriptures gotta come true, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's gotta see America for what it is, all its shame, all its brutality. Okay, and if it takes this guy to be in what they call the office for it to happen, then so be it.
Perfect.
Go ahead,
Line you up, boy. Yeah. So
We
Isaiah.
don't do no lineups.
Hey, you're going off, bro.
Stop it. This is Isaiah 47:1. It said, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no more throne, O daughter of the Chaldees, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind meal. Uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance. I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of the kingdoms."
You see, the lady of the kingdoms. Everyone models after her, man. Everybody tries to be like America. Grid system, water filtration, civil engineering,
Women's liberation.
everything that America has done, every other nation follows after to try to replicate, because they think that this place is a place of success, and they see like, oh, there's a lot of good, we could take what they take, and then they'll spin it for their own way. And you might see certain places kind of thriving, certain places in Africa, certain places in maybe even South America, Europe, right? Certain ways of their system work. Because he constantly destroys, the earth in his process of reaching his perfection. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything that he does, he doesn't take care of it. They've found out that the rainforest was actually created by men. Now, who do you think those men were, man? Israelites. You know what I'm saying? And if it wasn't Israelites, then anyone that was coming over here, was just was helping out and with the agriculture of the land, man. But the scientists have found out that, like, man, the way that everything is set up, with the ecosystem of it, plants, this and that, looking at the soil, the terrain. It was actually taken care of. It was farmed and gardened, which is why the earth over there, the literal earth itself, is so rich and nutritious, and why they import it over here to use in places that are just terrible. You see? So Edom, he doesn't do that, because there's so much, like out here in the northwest, there's so much land, like those are potential jobs that the sea could be giving people to just go out and take care of the soil, determine which trees need to be cut and fall, and where landslides would, take place in the current. You can learn all that stuff. You can implement all that, but this devil doesn't do that because he has a destructive nature. That's how we know who he is. He reveals himself. So when the Most High comes, he's not going to meet him as a man in a suit and tie, knock on the door, knock, knock. He's not. I'm here
Have
for
a
Trump.
treaty for you.
I'm here to talk to Trump.
He saw home?
Is the POTUS here?
Where's Pody?
Yeah, where's old POTUS? Old POTUS. He's not. The Most High is going to come and meet you with energy, man. The chariots. YAHAWASHI is coming with the chariots, man. He's meeting you with raw energy.
Hey, so like, can you imagine once I go down and then it's like, oh yeah, all right, give me your top dude, and then it's like the UN gotta have this big debate about who's gonna be the top dude and who's. Well, the interest of this guy's talking isn't in the interest of China, so we can't be along with that. You know what I'm saying? That bullshit.
Yeah. You see, nobody's gonna fall for that. But that's what the world is trying to do, is downplay the Most High. YAHAWASHI.
That's what they've been doing for a while too.
Precepts.
Yeah, this is Psalm 15:16. It says, "But unto the wicked, the Most High saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant into thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee, when thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes." Now,
You see, so because, we always bring this out, but because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men is fully setting them to do evil. So because Edom's feel like they've gotten away, with murder, they continue to murder. They think the Most High he's not going to do anything about it, because he sat by and he's like, look, it's like a parent or somebody watching a child do something bad, and you just stand there watching them shaking. Like, damn, he's fully committed to just doing that dumb shit right now. It doesn't even. I don't want him to know that I'm standing here, because of course he's not going to do it if he knows I'm here.
Right.
And then that's part of his character. It's like, look, I see everything, but you're still gonna fucking do it, and you're gonna act like
I didn't see you.
Like I didn't see you. And you're gonna act like there's no consequences. That's what would hurt, a father the most, right? But the Most High has already cast him away, and that's why he doesn't chastise Edom and Esau, because he's no son to him. He rejected him from the beginning. Okay, who you call Caucasians and white people, the Heavenly Father, who they call God, has rejected them from the beginning, man.
Bastards.
What's that for the kids that didn't any good or evil?
Romans.
Yeah.
I got a precept.
Yep.
This is
A
Psalm
little bit before 13.
Psalm 58 and 3 says, "The wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. The poison is like the poison of a serpent; they are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely."
Yep, they won't listen, man. They're made and created to be disobedient, unruly, and they're playing their part out perfectly, man, so that we know who they are and we can know who we are.
Oh, this is Romans 9:11. It says, "For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of Yahweh according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her, to the elder shall serve the younger."
Yep, the elder, Edom, he was born first, the older brother. He's supposed to serve the younger, meaning he's supposed to take care of us. But he hasn't taken care of us the right way. He's taking care of us in a negative sense, you know. And so he's not fit to run the house. He's not fit to inherit the family, you know, fortune. He can't even take care of a younger sibling. The hell business do you have running everything when I'm, you know, in my absence?
So Joe said he wouldn't even put him by dogs.
Yeah.
So he can't even run the fucking farm.
I got that
Yeah.
too.
Yep. You want to bring it all up?
This is Job 30:1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to set with the dogs of my flock.
Yep. They're not even fit to be around the dogs, man. So, you know, in a pack of dogs sleeping together, it's a warm place at night. That's where you get the term, you know, 3-dog night. And so he's like, man, you know, to hell with this dude. He's so base. He's even lower than a dog, man. He can't even be around dogs because scriptures tell you that all flesh is not the same. You got to consort with its own kind. And as base as you would call this guy, man, he's like a dog, you know, like a serpent. It's like, nah, but really, you can't even put him around those creatures because he's worse than them.
Give them fleas.
And give them fleas and start, you know, doing all kinds of heinous stuff, man.
That lets you know, man, like how people get all offended by cuss words, man. That is the most disrespectful thing, especially back in those times, to be called a fucking dog or a serpent or a fox or something like that. Like, I'd rather be called a sucker or a punk or something than called a you fucking fox. Like, you know how sly a fox is, bro? Yeah. Motherfuckers is very cunning. It's telling you, like, you're a sneaky piece of shit if they want to call you a fox, man.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
They're not like royal type of animals. You know, they're not seen. Yeah, they're not seen with majestic. They're seen as lowly, like a thief or a robber. Or,
yeah.
You know, because that's how they live. They're a predatory type of creature that just takes whatever they can get, and they're gone quick. And
swiper, no swiping.
Yeah, exactly.
The snake's whole deal is being deceptive. You know what I'm saying?
Sitting still so you can come on and just
so you don't see it, and yeah, he's gonna click on you. He don't want you seeing it coming. It loses all his whole advantage.
Fort Thomas Snake.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, just real quick, observation I made. I was at Safeway using the bathroom on the way home from work. It's an emergency, man, so you know I have to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
And so I'm in there, you know what I'm saying, doing my thing, sitting on the toilet. And bro, the whole time I was in the bathroom, I did not notice that it was fucked up bathroom. But in the corner, bro, on the ground is a big ass spider that was just, I didn't even notice it until out of my peripheral, it moved. Yeah. And I was in there for a minute. And it moved, and I was like, "Oh shit!" It's a big ass spider. I was like, "This sneaky motherfucker," because it was just posted, bro. Like the only reason why I knew it was there because like it moved, and I seen it out of my periphery. And I was like, "What the fuck?" The motherfucker was big, man.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, the scriptures talk about that in Proverbs, the spider in the king's fortress.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah. You got a spider in the fortress, bro.
Right by the throne.
Yeah, right by the porcelain throne. That's it.
That's a vulnerable spot.
He wanted to be close to the king.
That's funny.
Take it with you.
He's making sure the flies are staying away.
Oh shit.
Go ahead.
There's something that I was holding from earlier. This is Ephesians chapter 5, verse. That's funny. Verse 15, it says, "See then that you walk circumspectly and not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil."
Yep, and that's the whole thing, is an observation, man. You know, everything that we're seeing take place lets us know that we're closer and closer. So, you got to become more and more on point. and you're gonna see these people become less and less, less and less spiritual, less and less logical, even less and less emotional. It tells you that
the love of many shall wax cold.
The love of many shall wax cold, and you're seeing that, man. People don't give a shit.
Hell no.
No.
Maybe these people lighting the fires actually have family here, and they don't give a shit about their family either. They're just on some jihad shit. Really, what's the difference between these white supremacists and Middle Eastern jihadists? It's the same thing. They ride around in trucks, flags and guns. Nobody's stopping them, and they're looking at each other like that's the bad guy.
Yeah.
There's exactly the same shit. They both support some insane ass leader.
Yeah.
And everyone, you know what I'm saying? And everyone else is like, that's why there's that saying that intelligent people, they don't know what to say, and the fools have all the confidence. That's the times we're in, man. You know? Go ahead, we're gonna wrap it up. The brother's got more precepts.
You got one?
I got two that I would like to get out.
I got two. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You do one.
Okay.
You can't be too humble now. You gotta be
One and then one.
You gotta be one humble, man. You can't be too humble. We'll be here all day. No, you, sir. No,
Sir.
I insist.
Take the shit. No. You take the. Yeah. All right.
No, Shep's go first.
Romans 2 and
Let me see, G. Read the scripture.
2 and 6. Who will render to every man according to his deeds, to them who by patient continuance in well-doing seek for glory and honor and immortality, eternal life. But to them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, this is from way back, but obey unrighteousness and indignation and wrath, tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first and also of the Gentile.
See? So northern and southern kingdom, man. The Most High, he doesn't have a favorite tribe in that regard. You know what I'm saying? There's no respecter of persons when it comes to the judgment. He's not going to be like, oh, you're a Jew, I'm going to give you a pass, man.
King David went to slavery just like all the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. The only thing you can say about Most High having a favoritism is YAHAWASHI.
But YAHAWASHI is the only one that conquered death in his flesh. So
Right.
it's not fair. He actually won his reward.
Earned.
Earned.
But that was all
Earned,
predestination.
yes.
Scripture,
Yep,
scripture
yep,
even
yep.
say it pleased the Heavenly Father to wound
Mhm.
Yahushua. So
Yep.
Yahushua didn't escape nothing either.
Yeah,
No.
YAHAWASHI didn't want to go through it. He said, if it all possible, to let this cup pass, then, hey, please let that be. But if not, I'm down with whatever you want.
Yeah. See,
You know?
YAHAWASHI caught it on the front end. And basically the prophets are pretty much catching it on the back end through the spirit. But through the flesh, the 2/3 are going to catch it on the back end. Because they're not catching it through the spirit.
Set forth the apostles last.
Mm-hmm.
As it were appointed to death.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
it. Basically, that's how you got to kind of think of it. Like you're left for dead, but even though you're stuck on the island has plenty of things for you to survive. But are you going to
It's self-sustaining.
be content? Just be content, man, with whatever your situation is. Hey, you're still able to do the work. You're still able to believe. You still got the spirit. So what the hell are you really upset about?
You know how you like when you're in a like a confined space or something like that. If you panic, you're gonna 9 times you're gonna deplete your air. You're gonna hyperventilate. You're gonna bug out. But if you stay calm, things are gonna fare better for you. It's the same thing,
That's firefighter training.
Mm-hmm.
They have you go in somewhere basically, and you try to breathe normally through anything that you do, even though there's all this chaos going on around you. And a good instructor, he'll be in that fire the whole time on 1 tank of gas, barely even using it because he knows how to control his breathing, and he's just sitting there laying, waiting for people to come get him, type of thing. And he's just sitting there chilling. And so when you do like your SCBA or your self-contained breathing apparatus training for the face mask and stuff, you'll kind of do that because when the face mask will have to suction over your face, and then when you disconnect, you lose oxygen. You'll kind of panic for a second, and you're like, "Where the fuck is the air?" Because it's suctioned to your face. You have to you have to break the seal a certain way. And so I remember the first time I did it, like my body physically panicked, but my mental mind was, you're fine. You know what's going on. Just
Take the
1,
mask off
2,
your face.
and you're good.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you still like we're still gonna have these physical things, but you got to battle through it. The mind has to be stronger than what the body is willing to endure, man.
Yeah, it's just like in the military, you gotta do that.
The gas chamber.
Yeah, buddy. You gotta go in. You know what I'm saying? You got the mask on, and then after a minute, before you leave out, you gotta take your mask off, and you gotta say the soldier's creed. We had to say our name, social, some other shit.
Address, I believe.
Yeah.
Some bullshit like that.
And then say the soldier's creed. So, like at first you be like, oh yeah, man, but then you start bugging out and shit, and fucking snot running down your nose and shit. And,
Drooling on yourself.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy
That
shit.
shit is
Tears and
crazy.
all this.
Yeah, man, training all out the window, man.
Yeah.
You
Hey, training out the window, I went in there and you're supposed to take like a good 3 breaths or something before you rip the mask off and then start saying the shit. I went in there, took the deep breath, immediately just choked up, I can't say shit because didn't take the breath before pulling the mask off, took the mask off and then took the breath.
Nah, bro, you just killed yourself.
Don't give him shit. You gotta carry
Yeah,
water.
you be in there panicking, man. You be in there crying,
You lose your
skin
shit.
high.
You lose your shit. The moment all that's going through you, you lose your whole little. I had a cool mindset. That whole shit goes out the window.
Who said
You
it?
think you
Tyson?
gonna die?
Everybody got a plan. They get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, you
That's-
thinking you gonna die in that motherfucker.
You can't breathe.
Yeah, that's where the fight begins, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where the fight begins. Is where you can you remain cool, calm, and collected.
What?
Because whenever situation you get put into, are you gonna stay in the spirit? Are you gonna stay in the mindset of everything that you've been learning? Are you gonna default to this training, or are you gonna default to some other lifestyle that you constantly talk about?
Yeah.
You're bad. Oh, I came from this. Who gives a shit? That's not gonna benefit you in this truth.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. When the missiles are coming, they throw them signs up. See, that helps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, twist your fingers up.
Yeah,
Bang,
twist-
motherfucker, bang.
You bang those fingers out, man. See, that shit helps.
Yeah, they gonna twist fingers up when they burning.
You know?
Oh, yeah, they gonna be throwing.
Yeah, say the
fuck,
soldier's creed, salute,
Yeah.
fucking,
Right?
Recite your prison number,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, you know?
Yeah,
Remember that song?
Spit your lip, nigga.
Yeah.
Throw it up.
Spit your verse.
Throw it up.
See if that shit saves you. You know, Jay-Z.
Break
All
down
that
that
shit,
gram.
man.
Break that gram down.
Yeah, see if that saves you. Roll that blunt. Anyway, yeah.
Real quick
Yeah.
precept. It's like Galatians 5:16. This I say, then walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
See?
Mm.
So it's all there for us, but you got to put it into action. And that's why, being around in other situations gives you the opportunity to practice that spiritual flex. Because, you sit inside all day doing nothing, but when do you get to exercise your spirit? You can't exercise your spirit if there's no other spirits to interact with. Like, how do you do that? You know what I'm saying? You can't do it. It's impossible.
Shadow box your spirit, man.
I mean, you can simulate a couple of things, you'd be like, well, you get on the internet, this, that, and the third, but it's different when it's in person, man.
You don't need. You should never have the shadow box in the spirit, because the scriptures tell you that this is a spiritual battle. We're already in a war.
You
So
can't
if you're
fight.
shadow boxing,
That means you're not fighting in the
you
war. This guy's not gonna
yeah.
fight.
This tree and practice my swing.
My shank is good. My shank is good.
That would have been great.
Hey,
6 months ago.
someone on your own team's gonna look around and be like, this waste of space and just jug you.
Yeah, just come behind you. You ain't even in the war.
Take him out, man.
His shank is good, but he ain't never had to penetrate no armor or nothing,
Right.
just
Yeah.
air. My shank is good in the air.
Hey, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 2. It says, and if any man think that he know of anything, he know of nothing yet as he ought to know. And I brought that out, I pulled that a little earlier, but it kind of revamped itself with the conversation that we was having, just the current conversation that we're having now, because people, you may think that you got the whole plan out in front of you and whatnot, but realistically it's nothing of what you should have been meditating on or putting into practice.
Hey, the spirit moves, man. This is brought everything right back. You know, patience, man. How you wait while you're suffering, or what you were saying at the beginning. That just brought everything right back to it.
Yeah, the way you behave, man, while you're waiting. That's really what it's about. You know, child could be screaming and crying, and they know that, like, look, if you behave, you know, you can get this reward. But okay, look, now we're not going because you didn't behave properly. You know, a bad, terrible parent is still gonna get them the fucking toy. And it's like, why? They didn't do anything. Yeah. They just realized that they could be an asshole and still get whatever the fuck they want. You didn't teach them that.
Or like when you was growing up, you be on punishment. Say you was on punishment for a month. Depending on what you was doing when you was on punishment, you could get off punishment early.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you're trying to be sneaky and, you know, people come over, you know what I'm saying?
Dishes and shit.
Yeah. People coming over and you trying to be sneaky and always coming out the room and shit. You know, seeing who coming to visit. Nah, man. Like, hey, parents, they be knowing what's up.
Yeah, they like that. They give you a whole other month. Yeah, a whole other month on top of that. You like, fuck.
You be thinking everything's good too, sitting there chopping it up with them. You know, the family's over, yada yada yada. You know, you're supposed to be in your room as soon as everybody leaves. Like, oh, you know, you added another month onto your ground.
Yeah,
right? You gotta be out here mingling around. Yeah, that's another month. Like, damn.
I did that shit once, bro. I had to wash dishes because I didn't do them right the night before, so I made me wash them again. So I caught myself being slick. I did that shit again. Like, I ain't want to fuck washing dishes. I didn't dry them off and all that. So she gave dishes for a month, bro. I said,
Them dishes was good now.
Man, all my brothers, they was using as many dishes as they could. We'll go in there, drink some water, and be like, oh, you know, I'm still thirsty. Grab another cup and drink some more water. You know what?
Yeah, you got Benjamin Button hands and shit's wrinkled.
Yeah.
Doing all that washing.
Go ahead.
All right, this is the scripture I had. This is Isaiah chapter 64, verse 4. It says, for since the beginning of the world, men have not heard nor perceived by the ear, neither hath the eye seen, O Yahawah, besides thee, what he hath prepared for him that waiteth for him.
Damn. See? So all these things that we think about and the human imagination is created, the Most High is going to far exceed all these things, you know? It's going to far exceed. Because anytime they show someone flying, right, one of the things that the Poindexter would point out was like, he's moving so fast, the area, his face is supposed to be like this and that. But what if that's not the case with the Most High? You know? What if that's not the case? Like, imagine that. Like, you gotta be, you conquer death and everything. Your spiritual power, you're immortal. Now you're flying, but you got things flying in your eye, and it's a terrible, like, I don't even like flying. Like, no, that's not going to be the case. You know, it's going to be, you're going to have the total spiritual power of all peace.
Yeah, Superman.
Because that would lead you to believe that, you know, there's no peace and stability. You know, so you got to get tortoise shells and find some glass and make some little fancy ass goggles. And,
right.
You're a superhero, but yeah, a fly would just disable you, would dethrone you from everything. He got him in the eye, he flies into a fucking big ass building and kills himself.
Like, the king was taken out by a gnat. Like,
By a gnat.
Doesn't even sound right.
Game of Thrones, the first episode where what's the name got hurt by
he went hunting for the boar and fucked him up.
Yeah, he was known to be a hunter and shit.
But see but that was taken right out of history though. That was one thing about R.R. Martin or whatever, George R. Martin, whatever his name is that he actually took, you know, real historical events, and that was stuff that would happen. Kings and people would die in jousting tournaments, in hunting accidents, you know, all types of weird shit. So, but yeah, we're not going to suffer those things, man. We're not going to die like men anymore, as the scripture said. We're princes, but we shall die as men. Well, that curse is going to be reversed, man. We're not going to have those problems of people. So all these things will be, you know, great things to look forward to. Do you have anything on that?
That was good.
Think bro's got anything else? Saul's looking for something. He's gonna find it.
I'll bring this up while
Go ahead.
This was kind of off topic to what we're talking about right now.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is 2 Timothy 3:1. Knowing this, know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents. That's why I brought this one up.
Yeah. No, but this is a sum of all things.
Unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, lucky, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth.
You see, ever learning but never coming in, because all those things are blocking them from actually, coming into the truth. Which the truth is, because all those things promote is a falsehood. All those things that are listed is basically a lie. It's a falsehood. Love. You want your own pleasure rather than the Most High's. Like that's not gonna. That's never benefited anyone. Because your own pleasure, 9 times out of 10, is gonna be something wicked, man. To serve is the greatest thing. Because if everyone is serving one another, then no one has to be, what I'm saying? If everyone puts each other first, no one's last type of mentality. But when you're pleasuring for yourself, you're putting a lot of things on the back burner. So, yeah, this walk that you find yourself in it should be a very personal thing, right? But you should be very amped to change yourself constantly for the better. Okay, change isn't as easy as just disassociating with certain people. A lot of it is internalized, man.
Paul said, "I die daily, and though the outward man perish, the inner man is renewed day by day." So killing the flesh and feeding the spirit. When you kill the flesh, it automatically is gonna revamp the spirit automatically because they're one against another. So when you're killing the flesh, the inner man is always going to be rejuvenated, because that's how the Lord set it up for His men.
Hey, with that, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to pray to the Most High.
Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash.
Double honors to the elders and apostles, better known as the Great Millstone. Shalom Akim, the 1/3, the elect, 144,000. Shalom.
Shalom. Power this joint down.